All right, it's a good thing that we don't have long till we talk to Hunter because this next segment is pretty short. It's only a minute video. It's an old one. It's from last year. It's about a year old at this point, and I know some other people have covered it, but it's gotten a bit more of a resurgence in the algorithm in that I can't avoid it. It keeps popping up in my recommended, and I decided not to just strike it off of my list and say, don't show me this video again, because I wanted to remember it so that I could stream it. I have an idea of what it's going to be, but I've never seen it. And I've heard it's absurdly cringe, like painfully cringe. It's by Ryan Long. When wokes and racists actually agree on everything. What a depressing like to dislike ratio. I've never seen this before. I heard it's pretty popular. Like a lot of people have seen it, make fun of it on the left. I'm interested to see what kind of arguments we're going to get here.
When me and Brad first met, I didn't think we'd get along, but...
Okay, so this person, I'm going to go out on a limb and say is the woke one. And this person, I'm going to go out on a limb, I'm going to have a bit of a film theory here, is the racist. Now, I'm no MatPat, but I'm pretty confident in my theory here.
Turns out we kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Wow, we're just hopping right in, aren't we?
We both have a lot of opinions about people of color, even though we barely know any.
I say colored people, but as long as we're classifying them, we both think minorities are a united group who think the same and act the same.
And vote the same. You don't want to lose.
What? Okay, for starters, no. Like the left wing, isn't the left wing idea of like race and culture in America, like the idea that America's a melting pot of all these different cultures and races, and that we all like get together and we've all created like American culture is sort of a coagulation of a bunch of different cultures, of a bunch of different people who all came to America. Like that's like the left wing idea here in America.
Same?
And vote the same. You don't want to
and vote the same. I wonder what the justification is going to be for that.
lose your black card. Sorry, I don't know. I just think we...
Wait, is he actually doing the Biden meme? You know how he... Okay, maybe you guys don't know, but you know the joke that, like, if you vote for Biden, then you're black? You know where that joke comes from, right? It comes from the Democratic primaries, where Biden had a fucking gaffe because his brain is melting, and he accidentally said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't white. A very unfortunate and yet very funny gaffe. That meme was around pre-Biden. I guess, like the idea that if you don't vote progressive, then you're anti-black, but this came out in 2020 in July. So I'm pretty sure this is referencing the primaries in that quote from Biden. That's when it started being a thing.
We should roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again.
Jinx, now you owe me a Coke. Hey, tell him what you told me yesterday.
Astounding. We should roll back discrimination laws so we can hire based on race again. So if I can pick through this like amalgamation of a straw man that they're trying to make in the left here. Also, I want to point out, the left doesn't usually do this kind of stuff in their political comedy. You ever notice that the left doesn't usually like have to stretch that much to make fun of our political like rivals? Like when SNL does a shitty lib shit skit about the Capitol rioters, for example, they aren't going to like mess with anything. It's already so absurd. There's nothing you need to change, to lie about, to stretch, to make it a joke.
Coke. Hey, tell him what you told me yesterday.
White actors should only do voices for white cartoon characters.
I've been saying that for years. Stick to your own.
Us white people.
Phenomenal. So the left-wing position, as much as they don't want to say it because it sounds too reasonable in their comedy video making fun of the left, the actual left-wing position is if you're going to have characters of color in a show or a cartoon or a movie and the character is POC, why would you go out of your way to, instead of giving opportunity to like an actual, say, black actor to voice a black character, you instead hire a white voice actor to voice the black character, and thus depriving a black person of a voice acting gig in, an industry that is overwhelmingly white, right? But apparently that's the same as racist people saying stick to your own.
White people, we have so much privilege.
I agree, it is a privilege to be white. Ask him about interracial dating.
I almost think this has to be, like, completely ironic. Because that was so forced, if that was actually supposed to be an argument. I think white people have a lot of privileges afforded to them by the racist systems in place now that keep black people down. And then the white supremacist says, oh yeah, I think we're really privileged to be white. We totally agree on the same things. That's totally what we totally agree. Wow.
Interracial dating.
All I said is that black men who date white women have internalized racism, and white men that date ethnic women are fetishizing them.
Guys against...
For starters, I've never heard a left-wing person say that interracial relationships are bad. Not once. I've never heard anyone argue that black men who date white women are it's internal racism or whatever. Never heard that once in my life, okay? And my job is to be like a progressive commentator, okay? I know these talking points. I know the left-wing talking points. I promise. I promise you that this talking point hasn't just, like, flown by.
It's interracial dating now. Like, am I being pranked? Did Boomer put you up to this?
Ugh, you know that taco place is white-owned?
White people should be making white foods, like Kraft macaroni and cheese, no seasoning, not even salt. It's like he's a...
I will give the video a point on that one. There are unironically left people, those fucking blue check marks on Twitter, that have said shit like that. In fact, it went viral recently when that one, like, left-wing Asian lady on Twitter quote tweeted that white chef who wrote a book about how to, like, it was like a recipe book, and there were, like, dumplings and shit in the recipe book, and she quote tweeted it and got super mad and said, why is a white woman writing about how to make Asian foods? And then she got fucking bombarded by shit from the right and the left, because guess what? Actual left-wing people who believe shit like that are few and far between, and when they dare say something so stupid, not only the right, but also the left come and dunk on them.
Mind reader. I mean, I've been pushing for segregation forever, and my man does what?
I created an improv comedy show exclusively for ethnic people.
Guy segregates comedy on my birthday.
White people need...
I don't know about you guys, but I haven't made a POC-only comedy show. I like having non-white people and white people living together and occupying the same spaces. I haven't seen very many non-white or progressive people outside of Black Hammer in favor of shit like this. Oh my god. This video, I'm clutching my side right now because I'm getting, like, you know that thing where, like, in the side of your ribs you'll get like a sharp stabbing feeling? I'm getting that right now, and I think it's entirely from the cringe this video is radiating, like, fucking bombarding me with. Like, gamma radiation from the sun or something.
They need to stop wearing dreadlocks, and they need to stop appropriating black people's music.
Shaved heads and country music, the way God intended.
Alright, I'll give them this too. Yeah, no. Lot of progressive people, unironically, do get their panties in a twist way too much about cultural appropriation. Like, there's a certain point where it's like, alright, maybe this is excessive, but in the cases that I can think of where it would be where a reasonable left-wing person would call out, like, cultural appropriation, it's usually wrong for, like, another reason, right? Like, most people on the left that are reasonable don't give a fuck if you buy and wear a kimono as, like, your robe around the house, or if you eat or cook whatever food, or if you're a white guy and you grow out dreads, or just list anything, right, that could be described as cultural appropriation. Like, there are crazy motherfuckers who believe that shit, but they're, for the most part, not the majority of the left. Usually when these people engage in this kind of shit, most of the left comes out and shit talks them. There was that one girl who went to prom and she wore like a Chinese style sort of dress to prom because she really liked it, and she got bullied online. But, like, the people doing that bullying, in hindsight, by both the left and the right, and even back then, are viewed as pieces of shit. No one likes those people. No one, left or right, likes those snotty assholes. They're annoying, and they're complete pieces of shit. We don't like those people. But, I mean, I guess I'll give them a point on that one, because there are people on the left that unironically say that kind of shit. They don't agree with the racists, But they do complain about cultural appropriation.
You know all white people are racist.
I'm listening.
Even if you have a black wife or a black friend group, you're still really racist.
No, the left does not believe that all white people are racist. The closest to that you'll ever hear is the idea that everybody in our society, due to the fact that we grow up being formed by our environment, that's determinism, the idea that your environment shapes who you're going to be in life, that we all have some implicit biases, right? Whether you're black or white, a woman, a man, trans, gay, straight, doesn't fucking matter. You've got certain implicit biases that have sort of been instilled into you by society as you've grown up and you've lived your life, right?
You know, we just kicked a guy out of the organization for having a black girlfriend, but if you can promise me he's still really racist, we'll consider letting him back in. Black people should only shop at black businesses.
I guess the only thing
I've just never heard that one before. I can't even try to rearrange this jumbled mess into like an argument a left-leaning person would make. I guess the closest I could get would be you should probably support black-owned businesses if it's in an area where black people have a tough time. Maybe. I guess that's like the closest I think I could like rearrange this into an actual left-wing position.
I guess the only thing we really disagree about is I think white people are the root of all evil.
But what did I tell you, though? If we can narrow that down to a certain group of tiny-hatted white people, I think we can come to an understanding.
Technically, I don't consider Jewish people white.
Neither do I.
That's just a fact, though, if we're talking about ethnically... For starters, whiteness is socially constructed. Irish people weren't considered white a long time ago. But if we're talking about, like, Ashkenazi Jews, I'm pretty sure, yeah, most people wouldn't consider them white. Like, in the same way that, like, a German American or, like, an English American would be considered white. Because they're part of an ethnic group / religion that's been discriminated against a lot. But you would argue they're white passing. I don't know how this is supposed to imply that, like, woke people and racist people both hate Jewish people. This is like saying that, The funny thing here is this comes along with the implicit idea that because the woke person thinks that Jewish people aren't white, I guess in this scenario, and the racist person thinks that Jewish people aren't white, then they actually agree, and that they agree on what should be done to Jewish people. Like, I don't know how, yeah. David Pakman is white passing despite being Jewish and Hispanic? Yeah, absolutely. Like, 99% of Jewish people here in America, you probably wouldn't, like, you just pass them on the street and say that's a white person, right? But if we acknowledge, like, the position of Jewish people throughout history from, like, a socioeconomic lens, typically you look at Jewish people as sort of a separate group because they've got a pretty unique history in this country and around the world when it comes to, like, the discrimination they faced.
But we're still cool with interracial.
Nice. Very much like if back in like the fucking 1700s you were an Irish person, or like if you were like a sociologist back in like the 1700s, you probably would have been like, you probably wouldn't have counted Irish people among American whites in like a census or whatever, in like a survey or whatever. You would most definitely have Irish people in a completely different category, even if you're progressive, because that's just how society viewed people back then. Back then, society's construction of race in America was Irish people aren't white. That was the idea. Well, that video was a toxic bombardment of cringe, and my life has become considerably worse after watching that. And I'm really surprised I was able to stretch out a 1 minute and 44-second video into 28 minutes. Am I a good streamer or what? Imagine turning 1 minute and 40 seconds of very cringy content into 28 minutes, almost 30 minutes of content. That's some good shit right there. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you haven't already, so YouTube actually tells you when I upload, go live, put out a short, or do anything on my channel. And of course, follow my social media down below. We've got YouTube, Twitter, Discord, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, tons of social medias down there. Go check it out. Oh, and comment on the video. I want to hear, what is your favorite drink? Comment down below what your favorite drink is. If you have the same favorite drink as me, I'll heart your comment. It'll be a nice little thing. I will start doing that more. And And of course, finally, if you've got extra money for it and you don't need it for anything else, and you can afford to, you can always support the channel by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, super chatting or hitting the join button, become a channel member on YouTube, or subbing, prime subbing, or gifting a sub on Twitch, as well as pledging on Patreon or donating through Streamlabs. We're actually saving up right now for a VR headset. I want to get the Valve Index. So after we hit $200 in the dono goal today, any extra money all goes to a Cash App account that I'm saving up money in for the VR headset. And I think we're at around $400 so far. We're almost halfway to the VR headset. So if we can put some extra money in that savings today, that would be fucking awesome. I've got some really exciting ideas for VR streams, especially around Halloween. A lot of scary VR games. It'll be real fun. Anyway, guys, no matter how you support my video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a good one.